Well, hello out there. This is Marvelous Mark from the Off the Rope Show. Not talking about wrestling this time, but I am going to talk about the top 10 picks of the NFL draft and who I think is going to go where. That being said, let's just jump right into it, shall we? With the first pick in the 2012 NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts will select Andrew Luck, quarterback out of Stanford, because Peyton Manning has gone to Denver, and Jim Irsay needs a new face of the franchise, and Andrew Luck, quite simply put, is arguably the best quarterback prospect to come into the draft since John Elway back in 1982, who ironically also went to Stanford. But granted, he's not going to have as much talent around him as Peyton Manning did in his first couple seasons in Indianapolis. I mean, granted, he didn't strut out a winner his first year or two, but I think it's going to take Luck a little bit longer than it did Peyton Manning to become a winner in Indianapolis with the real lack of talent in their lineup, that since they released a lot of people. Like Pierre Garcon is gone, Dallas Clark is gone, Reggie Wayne stuck around, but other than that, who else is he gonna throw to this year? With the second pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins, with the pick from the St. Louis Rams, take Robert Griffin III from Baylor, quarterback. The Redskins traded three first round picks and a couple other picks to move up into this spot from number 6 where they were originally selecting. So RG3 better pan out, otherwise, boy, they really gave up a lot, didn't they? But truth be told, I think he will be the best quarterback that the Redskins have seen in DC since the days of Joe Theismann and Mark Rippon and Doug Williams. So I really think, granted that they did give up a lot to trade up into the draft to get him, but I think it's going to work out for him, and it's going to be Shanahan's best quarterback that he's had since John Elway back in Denver. Okay, this is where things could really get interesting. The third pick in the draft is held by the Minnesota Vikings, and really they could really go a number of directions here. They really need a left tackle to check the blind side of Christian Ponder. They really need a wide receiver, somebody that can stretch the field. I mean, yes, Percy Harvin is a great wide receiver, but he's more of a slot receiver. He's really not a number one receiver. If he were bigger, he could be, but then you got the Vikings secondary who was just god awful last year. So a cornerback would be good. Perhaps somebody like Morris Claiborne or Matt Khalil, or they could even go with Justin Blackman at wide receiver. But I think in the end, up until about a couple days ago, I was thinking Matt Khalil, but I really think they're going to go with Morris Claiborne, the cornerback out of LSU, because you figure twice a year you got to play against the likes of Greg Jennings, Megatron, Calvin Johnson, and now Brandon Marshall, who's now a Chicago Bear. So I really think this would be a good pick for the Vikings. All right, with the fourth pick in the NFL draft for 2012, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Trent Richardson, running back out of Alabama. And yes, this is another team that could go a number of directions, because they really need skill position players in a big way. I mean, because when your number one running back is Jerome Harrison, and your two top receivers are Mohamed Massaquoi and Greg Little. So I really think Richardson will be the pick here because I mean they do have a decent offensive line, and with Colt McCoy back there, it's like you need to get people around him so he can really show what he might be able to do. And I think Trent Richardson will take a lot of pressure off of Colt McCoy because he can catch passes out of the backfield and he can run. I mean he can run like the wind and he can run over people. I mean I think he's the best running back prospect to come into the league since Adrian Peterson back in 2007. So I think Richardson will be the pick here. Okay, the fifth pick in the NFL draft for 2012 belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know they would have loved to seen Trent Richardson or Morris Claiborne fall to them, but since that didn't happen, I have them taking Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker from Boston College. Well, why would they take him? Well, they were dead last in the league with points allowed last year, and I think he would solidify the middle of that defense, like the linebacking core, and I would think it will be an instant starter, and he can conceivably be a Pro Bowl linebacker, and I think it would be a good consolation prize for them. Okay, with the sixth pick in the NFL draft this year, the St. Louis Rams take Matt Khalil, offensive tackle from USC. I think he could have easily gone number 3 to Minnesota, but the Rams would be tickled to get him here because you could plug him in at left tackle to protect Sam Bradford's blind side, and I think he'll be the left tackle there for at least 10 to 12 years, and I think he will be a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. So I think this would be a steal at number 6 for the Rams. And the number 7 pick belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they take Justin Blackmon, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. Why would they take him here? Because number one, they desperately need a number 1 wide receiver, and all Blaine Gabbert had last year was Maurice Jones in the backfield doing about everything but print tickets. And if they would have asked him to do that, he probably could have done that too. But they desperately need a number 1 wide receiver, and Justin Blackmon would fill that bill very nicely. And Blaine Gabbert was so bad last year. It's just like it really wasn't fair to the greatest performance because he didn't have anybody around him. But it'd be interesting to see what they can do now once they get some receivers around him. So I think the Jaguars would be thrilled to get him here. All right, with the 8th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins did pretty much nobody's surprise, take Ryan Tannehill, quarterback out of Texas A&M. Why would they take him? Well, number 1, this guy has a chance to be a true franchise quarterback. I mean, granted, he has only had 19 collegiate starts, and he was originally a wide receiver when he first came to A&M, but he's got the size and he's got the mobility and everything else that you could ask for in a quarterback. And besides, they've still been looking for a franchise quarterback ever since Dan Marino retired. And besides, he wouldn't have to start right away because you have Matt Moore or David Garrard who could be the bridge to him in another year. And his college coach Mike Sherman is now the offensive coordinator in Miami, so this would be a great pick for Miami. I really think that. Okay, with the 9th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers take Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle from Mississippi State. although they would have been happy to see Luke Kuechly from Boston College follow them at this spot. Getting Cox here would really shore up the middle of that defensive line. He's a great pass rusher. He's just about as good against the run also, and that would really solidify, like I said, it would really solidify the middle of that defensive line. And so I think that this would be a good pick for them. Okay, with the 10th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills take Michael Floyd, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. Why would they take Michael Floyd, you say? Well, yeah, they could go offensive tackle. They could go with Riley Reef out of Iowa or somebody like that. But Michael Floyd would give the Bills offense another weapon opposite of Stevie Johnson and having Fred Jackson in the backfield. But Floyd would be a good red zone target, and he will probably catch you about 70, 80 balls this year. And I think it would make the Bills' offense a little more dynamic, and that's what I think about that. Okay, there you have it. That's my top 10 picks of the first round of the 2012 NFL Draft. Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe up above if you haven't already. And this is Marvelous Mark from the Off the Rope Show, signing off for now. Bye-bye.